What's up, everyone? Eric Allen, founder of Planiversity, back with you again. Today I just have a short tutorial on how to use the new Connect and Migration features on Planiversity. Let me just quickly summarize what both of these features do, okay? So the Connect feature is to be able to attach any plan for an event or a trip, doesn't matter which one, to one or as many individuals as you want. So if you're the representative at a company who makes the plans for your sales agents, your project managers, your traveling nurses, your salespeople, etc., you might want to attach that plan or make one plan and attach it to one person and send it out to them. Or you might be creating an event, perhaps a work dinner, a work luncheon, a work event, something that you want to disseminate to more than one person. And what you're going to do is you're going to use this feature to build the plan, and then you're going to connect that plan to as many people as you want, pending they are added to your database. Now, the migration feature is actually a pretty awesome one. This one we created to start moving in the direction of getting assistance from professionals and agents. And what this does is it allows you to start your plan, or not even start your plan. Maybe that agent can actually start your plan. And when you need them to add something to the plan, or you need them to start the plan so that they can add, your itinerary copies or your schedule or something like that. Maybe you hire a trip advisor or a trip planner and you want them to step in and help you out with the scheduling and the places to visit and give you some notes for the trip to remember. Then what they can do is they can either pull the plan that you've started over to their dashboard, they can amend that plan and then send it back to you, or they can actually start the plan and then migrate it over to your dashboard so that it's sitting there waiting for you, all completed. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. As you can see here, I've already got my account signed in. All right, this is my page. You can see up here, I've got the admin user account, not something that most people have. Now, obviously, I'm just going to have a few extra features for myself or for anyone who works at the company. But when it comes to the type of account that it is, this is actually just a business suite. So the difference between a business suite and an individual account is the business has this meetings function, this people function, and the job function, and the migration, okay? So if you're an individual, just a traveler, or just somebody who wants to create a party, something like that, then you're not going to have these features. You will not have the people, you won't have the jobs, you won't have the meetings, you won't have the migration, but you will still be able to migrate, all right? You just won't be able to connect because you have an individual account. Individual accounts typically won't need that type of thing unless they're a business, So you just got to keep that in mind. Will we offer that in the future? More than likely, we will have an incorporation of maybe like a family plan, something like that, where, perhaps mom wants to create a plan for a family event. She wants to attach it so that everyone in the family is on the same page. Although right now, what you could easily do is just download your plan or pull it up in your app and then just share it through your phone. Just share it on the app, airdrop it to someone, email it over to someone. It's easy. The difference between doing that and doing our Connect feature is every time you connect, not only does it connect that individual and send it out to their application, but it also drops that plan right on their dashboard, okay? And I'm going to show you exactly how that works. So what I did today was I went ahead, I signed into my account, all right? And I also signed into another account that I've created, which I'm going to go ahead and pull that up just so you can kind of take a look at that. And it's right here. So you can see this is an individual account. And just like I said, it's got it right here, individual, and it's missing the meeting function, the people function, and the job function, and the migration function. Does that mean it cannot migrate? That means it can't initiate a migration, but it can still receive a migration. So if you're going to migrate something, you have everything that you need over here. Like I said, you just can't initiate it, but you can actually receive something. If you're dealing with a travel agent, you give them the required information, they pull your plan over, or they send you a plan, it appears on your desktop. But let's start off with the Connect feature. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go back to my other account, just so we can take a look there. And what I'm going to do is actually, before I change, so I want you to take a look at this page. All right, you don't see any plans on here, that nothing that you won't recognize that we're going to send over. So what I did was on the other account, I created a plan to go to Rome, Italy. And what we're going to do is we're going to connect this individual, so Eric over here, and you can see right here, just look at the customer number, just remember the last 3 digits. So we have F2A, so Fox 2 Alpha, all right? We'll just remember that so we can see how it's connected. But in here, you can see I've got a few different plans that are already completed. And the way that I know something's completed versus incomplete is it's got a download. If it's got a download on here, that means it's already completed, it's already been exported, it's already been finished. If it's got just an open in here, that means the plan's been started. Now it's just sitting somewhere in limbo. The process or the software does save your progress, which is great. But if you have this and maybe you do want to start a plan and you don't have all the information at once, you can start it and then just come back to your dashboard. The service automatically saves your progress and then you can open it anytime. So if it's got an open, it means it's incomplete. If it's got a download, that means it's complete. But you can see in here, there's no plans to go to Rome, all right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna jump back over to my other account. So let's go ahead and pull that back up. Now you can see right here, I've got this incomplete trip plan right here. It's got the Coliseum on there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and open it up. Before I actually get into that, what I need to kind of preface this with is if you're going to connect it to an individual, that individual needs to be in your database, all right? And to get someone into your database, you just come over here, click on the people, and then it's going to pull up the people page of the people database. So you can continue if you're a travel agent, if you're somebody who works at a company and you're responsible for all the planning, you can go ahead and you can just create an individual file for every person, every salesperson that goes on to sales calls, every project manager, every consultant that travels, every sales agent, whatever. You just create a profile on them and you're going to add their customer number, which means that they need to actually create an account as well. Now, one of the things that's awesome about this is if they don't plan to use it themselves, the account, they can create an account, and as long as they never export data, that account's never going to cost them a cent, okay? So we'll show you that in the migration feature, but if somebody just wants to have an account and receive information, they can absolutely do that. They can have the application. It's never going to cost them a dime to have someone else do the planning and migrate it over to their account. The only time it's going to cost them is if they actually go in, they put together a plan and then they conclude that plan by exporting it. Anytime you export data, that's when it charges you, okay? So you can see right here, I've gone ahead, I've already created an account and you can see those last 3 digits, Fox 2 Alpha. If you want to see what that information looks like, it's all right here. So I put in a profile picture, I put in all that person's information. I can put in documentation on that individual if I need to, basically create an employee, a salesperson, whoever profile. And then once I get it, all the information entered, I just save that data. And then you can see it just drops into a list down here. And now that that information is here, now one of the things when we get to the Connect feature, you're going to notice that we only have 2 accounts that are active in there, and that's the dev account and that's my other test account. Now, the dev account is obviously so that our developers can test this. The other ones are in here just so we can kind of play around with the system so we can test things, but this is not an actual customer number, which is why you will not see it show up. If it's an actual customer number, then you'll see it'll have a legit customer number right here, not just a 5-digit number that I threw in there as a placeholder, okay? So let's go ahead and we're gonna go back to the dashboard. And you can see that the dashboard's already got that plan prepped. So I didn't put a lot of information into this. I basically just started it, knocked out the itinerary section. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click open on it. And what it's going to do is it's going to drop right into the first step in the process, which is the schedule. So once you complete the itinerary section, and please excuse that it's moving a little bit slower. Anytime we're streaming and recording something, and of course we have multiple pages open, it's going to slow the service down just a little bit. Not the service itself, but my computer in general. So you can see the step or the process walks you through step by step. We're not going to go through everything right now. I created the itinerary. I've already said I'm flying from Philadelphia over to Rome. You can see it in the background right there. If I want to get a better glimpse of that, I just go ahead and minimize that page, blow it back up. Now I'm going to skip all these steps, so I'm just going to go straight to the connect function. Once I get to the connect function, it's very easy to use. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. If there's any questions, that's why this video exists. But all I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. Now, if I didn't want to connect it to someone and the plan was for myself, it's easy enough. I just skip this section. But if I want to connect it to that Eric Allen, then I just go in here, go to the drop down. I can see, like I said, those 2 accounts that actually have a legitimate customer number are the only ones that are in there. If I had 100 people, this would be a list of 100 different names, and I would just connect or click on any person out of that list that I want attached to it. You can have 2 people, you can have 1 person, and it's really up to you. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna connect Eric Allen. So I select the name, I press go, and boom, there it is, drops off to the side. Now if I wanted that dev user as well, I could do the same thing. Add him. If I want to remove them, obviously I just click on the trash can right here to remove, but I'm just going to leave that one right there for now. That's it. That's all you got to do. Once you connect them, you just go through finish next step. We're going to say that this is Eric's trip, so we're going to get to the export page. I've already personalized it with a picture of Rome, of the Colosseum, as you already saw, and you'll see a picture of that plan come up. So let's go ahead and we'll just say Eric's trip to Rome. Once I'm done with that, now if you want to review that packet and you want to see what it looks like, again, we just click on the review. You can see there's the Colosseum, there's the trip name right there, Eric's trip to Rome. I'm going to save that. I'm going to go back. Now that I'm done, I just proceed to the PDF. Now, obviously, it's going to take a second just to generate and pull together that data, and then it's going to drop me back at the dashboard. Depending on how much information you actually have gathered, it's going to take that much time. So if I go through and I put a ton of information, if I tell the system I want a ton of different resources attached to this, a ton of different plans, it's going to take a minute just to compile all that data and organize it. All right, so like I said before, now it has a download switch on here. It doesn't have an open button. So if I wanted to figure out what status it's in, I know that it's already been completed because it's got a download button. If it had an open on here, that would tell me that it's incomplete. So now I can see that plan is done. It's finished up. And now what we need to do is we need to see if it's actually showed up on the other account. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull that page right back up. Now, the only thing I need to do here is the page will automatically update on its own, but we're going to speed up the process and we're going to go ahead and reload the page. Again, you can see here, there's no trip to Rome on here. All right, Eric doesn't have that plan yet because it hasn't updated, but once he goes in and he refreshes the process, now you're going to see that plan is sitting there waiting in his account, ready to go. Boom. That is how the Connect feature works. It's awesome. If this individual has the application on their phone, then it would also drop into their application dashboard as well. And you can see up here, we also got a notification, and I'm going to go ahead and open that. We'll see right here, Eric from admin, that would be me, went ahead and put in a connection request and took care of that. Good to go. And we know that it was successful because it's sitting here on my dashboard, right? And I can go ahead and download that right now if I want to. That is how the Connect feature works. Very simple. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over the migration process. So the migration process is also very easy to use, very quick. And again, we're going to say in this instance, let's just say I'm an individual who's getting ready to go on a trip. I have some of the information. There's other things that I'm missing. I decided to hire on a travel agent so they could book my flights and they could book my tickets, my hotels, everything else. And now I'm going to need them to add that to my plan because, of course, that's the whole point of Planiversity is consolidation of information, right? It's to organize and keep things together. And I don't want to have a plan, but then have my itineraries separate. So I want to have all my information together. So what I'm going to do is if I want to get that agent to get a copy of this, what they're going to need is my customer number, and they're going to need this packet number right here. I understand this packet number looks a little bit long. It definitely is, but that's for security purposes. Of course, there's always encryption methods, but the shorter a number is, the easier it is to hack, the easier it is for people to figure out. If it's long like this, it makes it so much more complicated to be able to figure out, and that's why we leave it this way. Will it change in the future? It might, but for now, we find that this is one of the most secure methods. So what I'm going to do to make it easier is, I've already started this plan, right? But now I want to turn it over to the travel agent to figure it out for me, or to complete it for me. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to copy this plan number, okay? And again, so this is the Eric account, it's incomplete. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to switch back over to the other account. So let's go ahead and pull that back up. Now, if I want to do a migration request, the only thing I do is, I could have, of course, sent a message over to the admin user, Eric, and said, hey, could you do me a favor? Could you migrate my packet over? Or my packet's ready for you to put the information in. And I say, I'm the travel agent. I say, sure thing. Let me get your packet number. So I've more than likely already got a profile on you. I just go into my people page. I'm going to scroll down to my list of people. I'm going to pull up that individual in question. And today we're talking about Eric, who's me. There's several me's now that we're talking about. So I'm just going to go ahead. You can see right here the migration tools. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put their packet number in that we collected. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put in their customer number, right? That's all I need, is those two pieces of information. So once I have those, I just go ahead and I click the process, and you'll see right here we get a confirmation pop-up. Now all I do is go back to the home page. I've done all I need to do to migrate that now, or to initiate the process, all right? So let's go back over to the other account, all right? We'll pull that back up here just so you can see what we're looking at. Again, everything will upload or update on its own, but everything updates not instantaneously. So what it's going to do is, periodically it's going to come in, it's going to update and say, hey, you have a request. So what we're going to do is, you can see up here we have a notification. I open up my folder, and what you're going to see is there's another conversation in there from Eric, and look, there's a migration request pending. I come over here. If I knew something about it, obviously I'm going to click accept. If I didn't, then I'm going to click decline, of course. And now all I have to do is go back to the home page. All right. That's all I need to do. So now you can see that the process has been initiated, and then the process has been accepted on another person's side. So we just go ahead. We're going to pull up my account again, and let's go ahead and refresh the page. And now you can see that that packet that the individual started is now sitting in my account. If I'm the travel agent, now I have control over their packet, right? So all I'm going to do is, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to open the packet. Again, this was just a simple plan that we started earlier. So now I'm not going to go through the whole process. I'm not going to put in a schedule, but if I wanted to put in a schedule, if I wanted to add notes, if I wanted to do all this information, I could, of course. We'll even just kind of go through this. We'll just throw in a test. We're just going to say that this is going to be on April 5th at 9 o'clock. And we'll just go ahead and save that event. As you can see, there's information right there. And since I love coffee, I'll go ahead and I'll put a coffee date in there as well. Whoops, all right, we don't want that for May, we want that for April. Oops, what did I do here? Nope, let's go back here, April, put that on the 4th, and we'll say I want my coffee nice and early because that's how I like it. All right, there it is. So I've gone ahead and I've done one step, but I'm not going to go through the entire process. Let's just say I'm the travel agent. I want to put in a little bit of information for them, make sure they stay on schedule, make sure they have the proper notes that they need, the information I want to give them. I can give them plans, I can tell them resources, I can add documentation. In fact, we can even go over here and we can add some documentation. I'm sure if you've already played around with the service, you know what that page looks like. Again, I'm sorry that this is moving slow, but this is kind of the growing pains when you're recording something live. But I'm not going to add any documents, but if I wanted to add documents as a travel agent, I could throw in copies of their itineraries here. If I needed additional documentation, maybe they bought tickets to something, so I could upload tickets. I could upload a copy of their passport. There's a lot of things I could put in here, but I'm not going to do that right now, and I'm just going to move on through the process. So one of the things that we're not doing with the migration is we are not connecting, all right? So if you come over here and you try to connect it back to them, you're not going to connect. You're not going to be able to connect because that's not what we're doing. This is a migrated packet. So by all means, the system should reject it right now. So if I put in that name and I try to go ahead and do it, you can see up here, people migration record exists. So what the system is saying is, hey, you can't connect because this is a migrated packet. We don't want you taking someone else's packet and sending it to someone different. So now that I know that I can't do that, I'm just going to go ahead and finish, go to the next step. Now, as a travel agent, I've added all the information that I want to add for this individual. I put in copies of their documentation. I've done my due diligence. Gosh, I can't talk today. I've done my due diligence. I've given everything that I need to do. And now I'm just going to say, Eric's Syracuse trip, and we can go ahead and we just throw in any kind of picture in here. Let's just say today we want to add a picture of a sunset. Now you can upload your own image. We're just going to go ahead and use what's in the database. Oh, there's a few nice ones. I really like this one right here. Let's go ahead and add that. Beautiful. All right, so once I'm good here, I'm the travel agent. I've done everything I need to do. I've personalized it. I've thrown a picture on there. I could put my company logo on there since I'm the agent and I took care of it. And now all I'm going to do is I'm going to proceed to PDF. I'm going to export this, and you're going to see now that that plan has been completed, the system is automatically going to send it back to that individual's dashboard. So now it's sitting in their dashboard and it's sitting in their application for them to be able to pull up. So you can see right here, it's confirmed. It's sitting on my dashboard. I'm the agent. It's sitting on my dashboard. But now I want to see if it's actually found its way back to the other account, right? So let's go ahead and pull that page up again. And here it is. Now, again, the system has not refreshed. It'll refresh periodically every minute or so, but let's go ahead and speed the process up. I'm just going to reload the page. You see here, the last we saw of it, it was incomplete. There it is, the last three digits are 313. Let's go ahead and refresh the page, and you should see a completed trip now, 313, and that's what we have. It's no longer in the open status. Now it's actually sitting there in a download. It's already been completed, saying, and now it's also in our calendar, as you can see down here. So that's it. That's how the migration process works. It's only going to evolve from here.